called to order for Tuesday, August the 10th. Roll call, Ms. Jenkins.
Moore,
Here.
Mingus,
Present.
Copeland,
Here.
Westmoreland,
Present.
Ms. Abrams,
Here.
Richard,
Present.
Does that mean you're here?
Center, here, Mr. Bush.
Here.
Thank you. Item 1A, consider approval of the low bid to construct the Laranja High Athletic Field House from Blunt Construction Contractors with the base bid alternate 1, alternate 2 for the total amount $2,304,700. Mr. Snodderbuck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The administration is recommending both the base bid, alternate number 1 and alternate number 2. We have the architect in the room. I'd like to turn it over to him, give him a few minutes to talk about the project and the scope, and talk about both alternates for you.
Okay, good.
Chris Bankston, Gaswood Bankston Architects. So when we started this project.
Could you take that off?
Can I take this off? Okay, yeah. I think it's on. Like I said, Chris Bankston, Gaswood Bankston Architects. We met with the committee a few times, but early on we had started, this project's been coming for a long time. It's made different locations from behind the gym to over closer to the classroom. It's always been by the football field, and then we wound up putting it up in the north end zone. As you see, this is the site plan. If you can, I don't know if you can see it on your screens, but you can see where it's located on the north end of the football field. We are right outside of the parking, so we kept the parking along the drive height, and then we also provided new sidewalks that connects from the home side bleachers all the way around to the visitors side bleachers. Excuse me. And if you go to the next slide. So the next slide, if you scroll up to the floor plan. So we met with the coach, and basically this was the plan that he had given to us. We actually had to kind of cut it down to get it within the targeted budget range, but he was happy with the layout. It was just basically his layout. When we got into design development and started laying the project out, we did change some flip-flop some rooms around, but he was pretty satisfied with this. We did submit this during the design development, towards the end of design development, before we went into construction documents to the building committee. We went over this. We showed the images of what it's going to look like, which you can scroll down. And we just to let you know what's significant about the layout, there is we added 2 classrooms and some storage area over here on this side. And then on this other side, which they were pretty excited about, they actually added some outdoor restrooms, so that I guess that was for the other football patrons. So this was a layout that was approved and that they liked. So, and then you can scroll down. And then this is an image of what it was going to look like. We left pretty much everything, the heights of the office spaces, the restrooms, the classrooms at normal standard heights. We talked about that. And then the other area in here, because they're weight rooms and they're in locker rooms, you can't really have low ceilings. So what we did is we basically just hinged it and made it a very economical structure, like a lean-to structure, over those areas to get them some height. And then it all seemed to work out pretty good. We were kind of crossing our fingers during this time frame with bidding, just because of the nature of everything, and we were pretty pleased with the way the bids came in. Of course, we always shoot to go under budget, right? But I think we were pretty close. When we met on alternate number 1 was included wood lockers, and this is something that the coach had requested. So we made it an alternate just so we can kind of see what the prices were, because the initial prices that we were getting from some of the guys that he had actually talked with was around $90,000. As you look at the bids came in, their low bid was around 75 or 78 something. So we thought that was a pretty good number.
73.5.
73.5. under alternate number 1, up under blank.
Up at the top, Miss Cindy.
What?
Alternate number 1 at the top.
Alternate number 1 at the top.
Chris, what would that compare to metal?
Metal, right now, metal lockers were pretty expensive, just with the nature of it. Normally, we would have gone to a standard metal locker, but with I mean, you've seen just steel across the board. It's just ridiculous, and it's the rolled material too. We were told we have some people that we know in the metal building industry that basically said what's not the steel, the increase in steel is not a huge increase in like the
Structural.
I-beams.
Yeah, structural.
Structure. But when you get into like the girts and the sheet, the roofing, the sheet roofing, anything that's folded, that's like metal studs. That's why metal studs are just outrageous right now. Well, anything like this, so that's that sheet metal. So that's why the metal blockers that we were seeing were so much more expensive. So, but we said we wanted to get an opportunity to see exactly what those cost anyway. So we actually got that here. But you can see a wide range of the costs in here that certain contractors got. And some contractors were telling me that they actually went with pre-manufactured ones, and that's where those big 145 to 150,000 were coming from. Alternate number 2 is a athletic flooring, and the numbers that we got originally was around around $30,000. Their bid's at 17 too. I called Blunt Contractors. I have a working relationship with them for many, many years. We've done many projects. They're a reputable company. So I got with John Blunt, the owner, and talked to him about the bids to make sure that he didn't leave anything out, that he was good with this bid, and we specifically talked about the lockers and the flooring just because I was anticipating a higher number than my preliminary numbers. And we just kind of wanted to know why it was a little lower, and he said that was the number he got. So, and that they meet the spec. So, in looking at this, we felt comfortable in recommending the first and the second alternate.
All right, do I hear that in form of a motion from the board?
1 second.
Hold on.
Wait.
Before we debate it, though, we need to have a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
We have a
I'll
motion
second
on the
it.
floor. We have a second from Ms. Simmons. All right, discussion, Mr. Moore.
Okay, if you go back to that, that bid form,
This one, let me find it.
I think I can ask the question without, without putting it up there. So, the bid that Blunt General Contractors put in for the flooring, it's the same floor and the same construction of the floor that the other contractors are putting in? I mean, because I'm just looking at the difference between, 17.
Yeah, well, yeah, so we have a specification in the bid package that says this type of floor. we
It's a
want.
rubber
This rubber floor.
floor.
So,
And
just
it's got, right, and this is what.
just the rubber matting or floor?
Everything's supposed to be, yeah, well, so since this is a public job, we can't close the specs, but we give them like 3 or 4 different options that does the same thing. So this is the option that they came back that met the spec. And plus, so also too, during construction, when they submit their shop drawings to us, we double check and make sure that what they're giving us is in the specs. But yeah, everybody's bidding apples to apples.
All right, because my concern is that there's such a difference in the price. This is material and labor, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
It's all
such a
turnkey.
big difference in the prices. It just makes me a little leery about.
Well, there's
Yeah.
two for 24,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are only, those are not far
Yeah,
apart.
right, exactly. That's why, look, so I called the guys just to make sure that was, that they were happy with their bid, because, you don't want to hold somebody to something if they go, oh, I didn't have this in it, or whatever. And so we went through it, and they said they're happy with their number. Several contractors bid it hard. They called us like every day, and those were one of them. So, and I guess it depends on how much work they have too, that bases their aggressiveness, you know, and what they do. And I do know that they just finished a couple jobs and that they're probably out looking for it versus some of the other contractors up there. I've worked with them all. And I know some up there actually just got some projects too, so maybe they're doing better than the other time.
How much business have we done with Blunt?
A lot.
A lot?
A lot. They actually, so we do work through several parishes, and they're heavy in Livingston Parish. And we do a lot of work with them in Livingston Parish. We just finished, the thing that we just finished with them was a $7 million athletic facility, baseball softball complex at Live Oak High School. And it's top notch, and they did a great job.
Any other questions? Call for vote.
Voting is open.
I can't vote. Mine won't take the password, so I'll just do it orally. It won't take my password.
Okay.
Yes for me.
It's gonna be yes.
You vote yes.
Did you call on me?
Ms.
Yes.
Simmons, okay.
It's only been how long since they had one? Since the beginning of their school, they never had a field house.
Yeah,
Yes, it's the first one.
20 years ago, when I first got on board, we started this 20 years ago.
Okay, now I know what. See that now?
It's a yes.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, and thank you, Chris. One more quick follow-up question on that timeline on this. What are we looking at realistically?
Go ahead.
A year.
A year?
The only, so out there, just so you know, there's a lot of issues with getting materials.
Correct.
So that's been sort of on the front conversation with a lot of contractors. Hey, you gave me, so you just have to give you a year to build a building, but another building, and we're steel, we won't get that for 6 months. So
Right.
in actuality, you're only giving me 6 months to build a project, so it's happening across the industry. So as architects, we're just trying to deal with these things as they come in, you know. But we talked to a couple of.
Can you go to the mic? He's asking if you can go to the mic.
So we talked to a couple of contractors about any issues, and the only thing that they were a little concerned about was the metal, the steel portion. But they have bids. They said that they're going to go ahead and put it into production. It might take them a little bit longer, but the design of this project is not going to stop it because the whole thing's not a metal building. We went with the concrete block. So the only delay would be if they're waiting to put those 4 columns up, you know, to do or the 2 columns to raise, the 4 columns to raise that front portion up. But,
Right now, our deadline's September 22.
yeah.
September 22.
Yes, sir.
And construction can begin there at Laranja. We can rope off that area and,
I think they've already started with the carpool line going a certain different way. Am I correct, Mr. Jinko?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, they're making people go around a different way.
okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. While Ms. Jenkins straightens Ms. Simmons out.
We got it.
Oh, we got it? Okay. Item 1B, consider approval of the low quote to replace the central office heating and air chiller equipment from Metro Mechanical for the amount of $239,780. Mr. Snottabat.
Thank you, Mr. Toller. We put out quotes. We sent them out to 3 select HV contractors. We got only 1 back from Metro Mechanical in the amount of $239,780. Our mechanical engineer, who's in the room today, estimated the cost to be around $240,000, so he's right on target. We're comfortable with the bid because this is emergency work. We're currently, right now, if you're aware, we're using a temporary chiller in the parking lot. It's costing us quite a bit of money per week to do that. We'd like to move forward. So, and there is a big lead time on getting the equipment. So it's the administration's recommendation to take the quote from Metro Mechanical and move forward.
Move to adopt.
A motion to adopt,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Minguez. Any questions? Any particular explanation of what went out on it? I mean,
It's actually served its useful life. It had a life value of about around 15 years. Morgan Mechanical has been maintaining it for us. We've been in this building almost 20 years now, so it's served its useful life.
So we got 5 more years, we got 5 extra years out of it than what?
Pretty much. Mark's, actually, his father designed this original building, so, Mark, you want to make any comment on the life?
Ashbury publishes, all standardized for equipment, and, yeah, like you said,
They need to get at the microphone because it's broadcast.
How you doing? Mark Erie Engineering. Henry, my father, he was the original designer, put the chiller in 20 years ago. Life expectancy of a chiller, it averages about 15 years. And in addition to, the original pumps are still out there. And so we took this as, an opportunity to kind of give you a whole new system, update it, controls, pumps. And so, that's about.
I mean, something had to go out if we're on a temporary unit.
Oh, you're talking about what went out. So the existing chiller, they've been limping along on one circuit, I believe. Morgan's been trying to keep it limping along, and whenever I got a call a month ago to come out, it was still on. It has 2 circuits, and so it was able to limp along on one circuit long enough, and then just recently they've had to go.
If y'all recall at our last board meeting, it was quite hot in this room. It actually went out that day. Morgan County came out and got the other, turned the one we were limping on off, and re-ran the other one, and said, look, we gotta get a temporary chiller now. It's like, and with the start of school year, not having our central office would be devastated to our operations, so we decided to move it temporary.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Mr. Bush?
Morgan, did they not bid and this does not fall underneath their contract with us?
So, actually had that conversation, being that Morgan was maintaining it, but also has the proprietary controls for this building. We just thought it would have been a conflict of interest for them to actually bid the equipment replacement while also having to issue a controls number to all the other bidding contractors. So we took them out, got them to publish a price on the work that was involved that was proprietary, and put in a third in his place to be able to keep it fair between all parties so no one has any objection on, he gave me 15th at double the price as he did for himself. So
Mr. Morgan was comfortable with that.
Correct.
So he's not doing the work?
He's doing the controls work.
And he
The temperature
basically-
controls.
He basically told me that if he was bidding the work, because it requires such large construction,
Correct.
he would sub out to Metro to do the work. So he's comfortable with the way we did the quote process.
Metro's a good company too.
Many a times.
So has the unit been classified as beyond, like, economical repair? I mean, is it gonna cost more to, or is it just beyond repair
It's
altogether?
beyond repair.
And being that it's actually served 5 years past its life expectancy also. The amount of money that it would take if parts were even available would just seem just to buy a few, 2-3 more years out of it maybe.
Yeah, I understand when it's time to buy a new car, you just gotta buy one. Like,
Here's a real stupid question. What brand name is that unit? And can we buy one just like it if it lasts 5 years longer than we're supposed to?
It was currently out there is a York. Since they have produced that, York is now owned by Johnson Controls, and they were actually low bidder on the job. So,
And still, the one we're purchasing, saying is gonna be a 15-year life expectancy?
I can't tell you it's gonna live 5 past it.
I mean, what is it?
no,
But I can tell you when
guarantee-
maintained properly, you're going to get an average, of 15 years plus or minus. I mean, hopefully you get 20 out of it. But like I said,
I don't know enough about chillers, but it just seems,
it's a mechanical
it seems
piece
all
of
cloudy to
equipment.
me.
It's as good to you as you treat it, per se.
Change the
You
oil
don't
every-
ever change the engine in your car, it's not going to last as long.
Hopefully, we've been treating them pretty good.
Well, it's evident because you got 5 years.
And Morgan's been the one that's been taking care of it?
Yes,
for all
sir.
these years?
Okay, any other questions? All right. Vote, Ms. Cindy?
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Item C, consider approval to purchase 40.12 acres of land located on Highway 1062, just north of the Laranja High School baseball field, for a not-to-exceed amount of $17,520 per acre. Mr. Snottabaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Toller. If y'all recall at the previous capital outlay meeting and board meeting, y'all approved the purchase of this property with an appraised value of $562,000 plus the value of the trees, $60,916. We presented that offer to the landowners. They politely rejected the offer, saying they anticipated more for their price of the land. We went back to the appraiser and asked them to reconsider their appraisal using adjoining property that currently adjoins existing property with the comparables. The appraiser did that, came back with a higher appraised value. We're asking the board to go ahead and approve this higher appraised value of not to exceed $17,500 for the purchase of the same land we talked about before.
Okay, do I hear in the form of a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Motion
second.
made by Ms. Simmons,
I'll second.
second. Any questions? All right, Mr. Duncan?
So, Mr. Snottabaugh, have the owners indicated whether this would be an acceptable price or not?
They did. They indicated they would accept this price.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right, so what is the, what is our main reason for purchasing the property?
The Laranja campus is pretty much landlocked, needs some, that community is growing. We're going to, down the road one day, need to expand.
Okay, so it's for future expansion.
Yes, and this property adjoins the baseball field, would allow us to, if it was a site for a future high school, would allow us to keep the athletic field we just approved, keep the football field in the same location and have use of both those facilities.
And not have to cross the highway.
And not have to cross the highway.
Mr. Jerry, I don't know if you've ever been out to Laranja, but the middle school, the high school, and the elementary school all sit in a 2-block radius. They all share the same campus. They all share the same cafeteria.
Parking.
And so it's needless to say that we're going to need a new high school in the years to come because they are building multiple subdivisions out there. And we know this is going to happen in the near future. So we're looking 4 or 5 years down the road that we're going to have to expand somewhere because we're growing that much. So this is the only large piece of land that adjoins Laranja High School. There's nothing left to buy. We would have to move the existing high school somewhere totally different in order to have move them. And it's being offered to us, and it's kind of would be silly not to purchase that piece of land when it's prime property.
Ms. Simmons?
And I think we have 28 or 30 portables out there now holding classes.
We have
32.
32 portable
So-
buildings.
32 modular buildings. We have additional portables in excess of that.
You're right, okay.
But you know, if the site is not to build on this and develop this in the future, if the board decides to pick another site, you can always sell the land too. Land value's not going down in this parish.
Any other questions?
Did the value of the trees price change, or it still
No.
stayed the same?
Stayed at the same appraised value. Yes, sir.
All right, hear no other questions? Vote, Ms. Cindy?
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, anything else we brought before capital outlay? Nothing else, meeting adjourned.